and you don't do villains. So what happened?
Would you like to see a magic trick?
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations on the movie. I love it. I love the grabber, and I love the grabber's mask and how it transforms.
Great. Fantastic.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
so much.
Yes, that's amazing to hear.
Mr. Ethan Hawke, nice to be talking with you. It's my pleasure.
My pleasure.
First of all, congratulations on the movie. I really love it. Now, I will be scared for a long time of the grabber. I wanted to ask you, because I was talking with Scott Derrickson just a couple of minutes, and he told me that he sent you the script, and the next morning you were convinced of making this film. And you don't do villains, so what happened?
I don't know. I told him before I read the script that I wasn't going to do it. I said I'm going to read it, but I'm not going to want to play the grabber. I'm not going to want to do that. But I read it, and I realized that I'd never done anything like it, and I found the movie oddly moving. I'd never seen a horror movie that combined serial killer element with ghost story and with an old-fashioned, beautiful coming-of-age story. I mean, it's really about the kids. So I thought it might be fun, you know, like I don't know, going to see a rock concert and you see the guy bite the head off a bat or something. It looks nuts, but it's amusing. And so I thought I'll go do my version of that.
Well, I found the movie to be as emotional as equal as scary. So how does this movie fit your emotional journey as a filmmaker?
I mean, that was always the idea, you know, that to me was why I wanted to make the movie. I wanted to make something very different than Sinister, different than anything I'd done before, because I wanted it to be the most emotional movie I'd made. I thought Joe Hill's story was really scary and really suspenseful and was a really good idea, but I also thought there was a lot of empathy in it, you know, it made you feel for Finney. You know, what I decided to do was take a lot of memories from my own childhood, growing up in North Denver in 1978. I was bullied. There was a lot of violence in my neighborhood. There was violence in my home. So I took a lot of these personal memories of that time and place and combined them with the Black Phone. And then, you know, we really sort of expanded or created the character of Gwen as kind of the soul of the movie. What the Black Phone really is a combination of a serial killer movie. You've got a sadistic child killer, a ghost story, because you've got the ghosts of the victims, and it's also an emotional coming-of-age story for Finn and for his sister Gwen.
Finney is so relatable and so real.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what of your own experience you included to your performance? Because like you really portrayed a really believable character.
Definitely. So what I tried so much to do is, me and Finney aren't alike in a lot of ways, so I really tried to find a little gray area to put myself into the character. So I watched this old 1950s French film, black and white. It's called 400 Blows, and that really spoke about childhood trauma, so I really incorporated that into Finney. And also the way Finney reacts in situations in the basement where he kind of keeps his cool, which definitely surprised me, and he's very smart. I try to see how I would react in that situation, and I would be screaming. So what I did is I tried to combine the both, where it was kind of like he's almost waiting for an opportunity to do something.
Do you recall every time you watch like a scary movie and you say like, oh, please don't go that way? Like
exactly.
Yeah, we say all the time. That was my reaction while reading the script.
Yeah, what I love so much about the grabber is it wasn't just a stupid kid who went up to a van. The grabber really trapped him. Like he couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, when I read that part in the script, the part where he gets taken, I was like, don't help him. Why are you helping him? That's so dumb.
Yeah.
But it's cool because then it transforms to that character.
Yeah, it's so disturbing and creepy.
Yeah, it's great.
So by wearing a mask, you needed to be like more visceral. So how was relying on those guts instead of like your face portrayal in this movie?
It's so interesting. It's part of why I thought it was kind of important that you see him without a shirt on, because you like want to see him breathe. You want to see him like an animal hiding his face. You know, there's something terrifying about that. But I needed to make it as human as possible when hiding the thing that we most associate with being human is a face.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
I don't know. I was really outside my comfort zone. I really relied on Scott. He's really good at this genre of storytelling. He knows how to make a scary movie. And so I just kind of threw myself at it. But
Yes.
you're right to say physicality is everything. I didn't have any idea what I was going to do with this part until I tried on the mask. And then once I put on the mask, I was like, oh, I get all this. This is really easy, actually.
And also I wanted to ask you, traveling to Colorado, 1978, did you already have made another movie that changes time? Like,
yeah, I actually did a TV series, an Apple TV series called For All Mankind, where it was in the 70s, and I always loved that kind of era, especially in film. It was always cool. It always just, and especially in this film, it always looks so authentic.
I know that faith is also really important thing in your movie. So how was translating this to the screen? And I know that you talk about the resilience of youth.
Yeah, I think that, I think kids by nature are spiritual, I think that you have to tell kids that there's no God, I think every kid looks at their hand and you have to instruct them. God didn't make that, Otherwise, they're going to think that somebody made my hand. Somebody did that. And so, to me, Gwen really represents that innocent naivete and heartfelt, vulnerable kind of belief in God. And also, she prays to Jesus, and this is somebody who lost her mother, has a father that she can't really talk to, who's abusive, is surrounded by a bunch of boys all the time. And I just love the fact that she's got her own private little spiritual life that no one else really has anything to do with. It's just hers and hers alone. And she's foul-mouthed when she talks to God sometimes. She's just herself, she's a really, really colorful, really unique, authentic character.
I love that they both are kind of heroes in their own particular way, right?
For sure, yeah.
I think that Scott also tells a lot about the resilience of youth, right? About like expecting it. But we know that also resilience can transform into evil, right? As this character has gone through a lot of things, and we get this context throughout the movie. So also how was building his story without actually saying it in the movie.
I think it's part of why I love the first script. Most movies with villains particularly, they tend to over-explain. And, they tell you everything. Okay, who cares? Like, he's a diabolical madman. I don't need to know what his mother said to him on Wednesday. I get it. Somebody screwed this guy over. So I liked, you only see the grabber from the kid's point of view. You're not asked to understand him or empathize him. It's just how the kid experiences him, and he has no idea who this lunatic is. And that gave me a lot of freedom.
I wanted to ask you quickly, Madeline, you never, your character never loses faith in their circumstances, right? So how do you felt portraying this kind of a strong character?
I think Gwen is amazing, and I love how fearless she is, but I think the reason why she never lost hope is because her and Finney rely on each other throughout the whole film, and they have such an amazing bond. They tell each other everything. They're there to protect each other no matter what. So yeah, I think that's why she never lost hope. How
do you feel that this next Halloween everybody is gonna be portraying the grabber?
You know what I think is really funny? I hope this is true. I might be in a situation where this Halloween, I could imagine young girls dressing up like my daughter from Stranger Things, and dressing up like the grabber, I think they could be a great family, coupling of Halloween costumes.
So last but not least, how do you convince someone as Ethan Hawke to play a villain?
I gave him the script, I told him what the role was. He told me he probably wouldn't do it. He said, I don't really play villains, but I'll read it. And then the next morning I woke up and there was a voicemail on my phone of him using the voice of the grabber reading one of the lines from the script. So that's how I knew he really liked the script and was going to do it. It was great.
Are you really into horror films?
I am, yeah. I've always loved horror films, so this being my first movie was really exciting for me. Yeah, I'm not really allowed to watch that many horror films, but that's why I was super excited that I got a horror film, because now I have to be able to watch it.
Yes, and everybody, like in Mexico, horror films are huge. So I know the Black Phone is going to be great, and we will expect you here soon, hopefully.
It's great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you.
The creepiest damn thing.